we have Mad Lions versus G2. Now, obviously, G2 didn't make Worlds, which is actually a bit of a big sad, but now we. So this is the thing as well, like that, like it's controversial. Don't get me wrong, but like now it's kind of crazy to see that even Caps doesn't want to be with Reckless. Like he left to get away from him, and then he thought, oh maybe I'll play with him. Maybe I'll play with him. It's okay. And then he just now he's not on that team. So I mean it's kind of funny, but I mean it's sad in a way. But it clearly shows that there was something going horribly wrong. They banned the Kalista first, okay, so Kalista's not really something that the Eastern world looks to ban until the second rotation, so that's a little bit different. I guess they're scared of them taking it early. The thing is, I don't know, I feel like taking Kalista early into a draft is so int though, because it's like, she's such a hyper unique champion, and the only time you can really like take her, in my opinion, is like on an R3 or R5, because if support hasn't been selected yet, they're literally just going to go Nasus, and you can't do anything. It doesn't matter how much of a support Nasus is, Kalista will literally be completely useless because the Wither stops her jumping. So, I don't know, like, I feel like banning it that early is a little bit grief, but obviously this was planned, and they get rid of the Aurelia, Ziggs. Thresh is off the table as well, which completely fine. That champion is broken. Like, Thresh is unbelievably strong. So, what are they gonna third ban Viego? That's interesting, considering they are on blue side. I would have expected them to B1 it instead. I don't actually know what patch this is on, but now they just ban the Zinzao, right? So they don't give it over. They're much slower with their pick ban though in EU. I feel like the bans are already kind of fully known usually. Brand. I don't feel like Brand is a huge issue, because you just take a long range ADC that never gets caught by him and you just run off. They went with the Varus first pick, okay. I wonder if we'll see any kind of Jaces in EU. I know in like the East, oh wait, that looks so creepy. That animation is so bad though. Wait, they're looking at the screen now and oh my god, oh man, he just fucking coughed without covering his mouth, what the fuck. That's something. I'm sorry, man. Okay, so we see the Ezreal come out. Rammus would be pretty funny. I mean, I'm not sure what patch this is on. I think it's 11.15. They get the Ezreal Karma bot lane. Ezreal's just a good kind of match into Varus. I think taking Karma here is int, but they do get the Lee Sin. Okay, because if you take Karma there, then you're just inting yourself a bit. We do see the Xin come out, so it's a good matchup for them. Oh, so they were trying to force the Lee Sin LeBlanc. Now, they should have just taken Lee Sin first, to be honest, and then they could have traded the Ezreal for the Varus. I think it's a little bit grief if they're planning on taking it, because, again, now the draft is so good for Mad Lions at this point, because we've already got TF and Lee Sin, who TF can offset the advantage that Xin Zhao has in the jungle, and TF also wins this lane, so I mean, it's pretty good. Now, in terms of bans, for the side of Mad, I mean, I'm looking to get rid of, I mean, tops is an issue, but I feel like there's so many tops open right now. Instead, you want to kind of ban away supports in this kind of second ban phase, so that then you can ban away, say, Braum and Trundle, and then you can pick, say, Leona. I feel like banning the GP there is okay, I mean, they are going to be playing through mid, so it does make sense. I just prefer, me personally, I'd want to go with singling out the support a bit more and getting more value out of this R4 slot in draft. So, okay, Alistair ban, that's pretty good. I mean, it's a tier 1 support. Now, I mean, probably another support ban. To be honest, I'd ban away Leona here just so that they can't R4 it. They might leave it until R5, but I think R4 Leona would be okay. I mean, they could also just respond with Braum, which could be a real kind of like issue, but I think you don't want to give Varus the Leona, because one of the things is I mean, Varus is already pretty good into Leona, which is a shame because if Leona jumps in, Varus just ults her team, and then Leona just dies. But we do see it taken here, so it is good. But I would have liked to see the Brawn ban there instead of the GP, and I think this would have been a really, really solid draft. I think GP was... I get why they banned it, don't get me wrong, but... I feel like Reckless just always looks like he's just out of it. He always looks like he doesn't want to be there. So, bad. So, it's Time Kench top. Okay. We get the Gwen. I mean, it's pretty good into the... Now, to be honest, I would have loved to see like something like a Rise here. Like, R5 Rise, I think would have been so good. I mean, it's top, so you get that like big like bully potential, and then Lee Sin never has to go bot, and Leona just spreads their time between mid and top. Now, obviously the team fights could be a little bit hard for the Rise to pilot, and I don't know if Arma actually plays it since he's a top laner, but I think it could have actually been a nice little slot there, even though, you know, it's a little bit hard to get damage in at some points of the game, but Leona jumps in and then that gives you plenty of space to do damage as Rise. But just because it's such a huge counter to Tam Kench, and as soon as you get Riftmaker, like you don't even need Everfrost, you go Riftmaker and he can just never do anything in lane against you. Whereas, you know, into Gwen, Gwen is still gonna kind of like ruin him. But so let's jump into the gameplay. I don't know how EU format their like runes and stuff like that either, but we see an aggressive start already coming out for the side of G2, just trying to kind of poke them out a little bit. But a little coach interview. Can't wait till we win every single tournament and we get coach interviews. It's gonna be cool. Hey, thank you, nice, my dude. Yeah, because we could also just look over. I mean, if you could also send one, if like game one, if you don't mind, but. And then what we'll do is we'll just have a VOD review day where we don't really scrim, we'll just VOD everything that happened. Okay, so here we can see the Lisa. Oh, I don't know what they're actually going on about here. But what we can actually see here is, you know, the LeBlanc did get a ward. Now, the thing is, I don't really like this ward as much on LeBlanc. Now, the reason why is because when you are playing LeBlanc, one of the things that you can do is, since you're taking W at level 1 anyway, what you can actually do is earlier on into the game, you can come into this pit, you can W over the wall, and you can ward this to reveal him on red, and I feel like that's just a better ward, because if you do that early too, then you still know their pathing, so their pathing becomes revealed, and you know, you do get that vision on top of the actual buff. So Lee Sin's probably just gonna go get his Gromp into red now and then look to gank. Ahmed's just gonna solo kill Wonder though. Like, it's so weird seeing Wonder as like this suboptimal top laner, because for the longest time Wonder was like the top laner in EU, you know, like, but you can tell the guy's passion for the game is just kind of gone. Like, he just doesn't really enjoy the game as much anymore, which obviously is sad to see, but it does kind of happen with everyone really at some point. I hope he will be able to kind of bounce back. But so Jankos is just gonna full clear. Humanoid, I mean, allowing himself to get pushed in by the LeBlanc, which, I mean, is fine. I mean, he doesn't really need prio just yet, so he is just trying to stay as safe as possible until he does need prio, especially since his crab isn't even up. Zinta walked into Lee Sin's bot side. Is he going to look for a dive here? I feel like it's very, very hard to dive a Ezreal due to how his E works. but let's see if they manage it. Okay, it was actually pretty clean. Mickey held tower aggro as well. And there we go, nice. Okay. Again, nice tower aggro held. This is really, really good dive, especially for level 3. That's, I mean, it's pretty interesting. Let's get our world's team info going. We go to Mad Lions. So this was really clean. We had he got the W and then he jumped in, made sure that the Ezreal died, and then Mickey kind of held aggro, they walked out, and then because Kai'Sa was still under the tower, he got a Q stack off the tower so that he could instantly knock up and then jumped on top of her. So really nice usage of the Xin Zhao Q there just to kind of get that second kill. So Mad versus Q2. Mad Q2. Okay. So overall, I think in terms of overall team comp, I really do. I think I do prefer Mad's team comp overall. I think they've got a good matchup in the top lane, and they've got a ton of setup with the TF Lee Sin. Now, obviously, the Varus is very, very big, but that's okay. So. So the Tankage did start Doran's shield though, which is giving him a massive amount of sustain. Now this is something I don't really like out of the Tankage though. By opting into a Bami Cinder here, you're killing your ability to freeze the wave. And you can never really hold it against, or it just makes it way harder to manage your wave. Okay, so walks in, just clearing vision. Mid can move for either side right now. But I mean, I really like how Humanoid's been playing this lane though. He's just holding it back so that he's in a position where he's never really going to die to a gank. So I do really like that, to be honest, but it does manage to pop Caps' clone. But this bot lane is looking a little dire. It's a really good play though. They've got this big wave and they're actually doing something with just the wave alone. So a lot of the times what you'll see is, and this was also an Eastern kind of league a lot, is there'd be these big slow pushes in bot lane that would never get used, because over there they don't like to take the kind of objectives early unless it's very, very free, just because of the smite changes. But Xin Zhao only needs one more smite charge now, which is very worrying for the side of Lee Sin, because there's only 1 minute until a herald now, and he's just used one smite charge. He's going to use another. He's going to have to use a smite to get his quest evolved before he can actually get this herald. So if I'm Yankos here, what I'm looking to do is kind of use my smite up, and then as soon as I have smite back now, I want him to instantly go and start the herald, because I already have smite advantage due to the fact that Lee Sin is still on 2 stacks. So the Xin Zhao smite is doubled. Now the another big thing is because he has red smite, he can actually 1v1 Lee Sin very, very easily now. Like, this is kind of one of the biggest things. Lee Sin can 1v1 Xin Zhao if he plays it properly, but with red smite, Xin Zhao will always win. So right now, Kai'Sa, I like how he's walking. You can see that he's coming straight out of base and walking straight down mid lane. And obviously one of the reasons why this is really good is because this wave is actually pulling in for Humanoid. So because it's actually pulling in, this Leona can just sit here now. Oh, excuse me. Can just sit here and wait. But she is gonna walk up. I mean, that's fine. Amma is going aggressive on top lane though. Nothing gonna come out of it. But as I said previously, due to the fact of Jankos having a higher smite, they 100% get this. So really, really bad from Elgoya. So, I mean, this is kind of interesting because, I mean, the early game is really sloppy. It's really sloppy. There's a lot of kind of things that are being abused here. So Caps just wait and see if he can get damage. Not going to do anything too crazy due to the fact that Kai'Sa is still here. But this thing with this Ezreal and Varus lane, you're... Oh, what the hell? You jumped back into it. You're basically 1v1 as ADCs. Because the supports are both going to just roam off. Like, even though they've only got tier 1 boots, they just roam off and do whatever. So, Gromp is about to drop for Lee Sin, but I think they were looking for a fight around this, to be honest. Nikki did come in and get some vision, does get cleared away instantly, but they do know where Lee Sin is now. Zin's out, is clearing out his camps as well. I mean, there's not a massive amount happening so far. Like, there's nothing crazy going down, you know, like... Okay. So, Amma has his 6. His ult available. Tam does just use his W to get out. So one of the things about this matchup though is Tam, you can cancel Tam's W if you CC him, but Gwen doesn't have any CC that can actually stop him. So because of that, it means that he can just keep using his W to get out, and it means that he has a somewhat free laning phase, and he is going to be kind of a big tanky kind of member of the team later on into the game, but we're just going to get Jankos just clearing away this vision in this area though. He's probably going to look to use this Herald bot lane and just crack this tower though. That is going to, mean that Ezreal can farm for free. But it means that Varus can start grouping into team fights. He's already 1.4 thousand gold ahead, to be honest. And this is basically because of Jankos. It was a very, very good early gank from him. Now, to be honest, I don't even know who wins this game. But it's looking very, very good for the side of G2. Now, at the same time, the games I did watch of Mad, they are very, very good at coming back in games where there shouldn't be an opportunity to come back. You get the Leona all in, but the E was completely missed. I don't know why she jumped on Braun. That was kind of weird, to be honest, but kind of bad play out of Kai'Sa on that Leona there. Lee Sin is going to start this dragon, but Caps can move. I think this is a very, very risky thing to do, especially considering Jankos is very strong this game. There's a TP coming in behind. They need to just back out of this and regroup. This is a little bit risky now, considering Amma is in this fight as the Gwen. Oh, it's such a shame to see from the side of G2. As soon as you see that TP come down, you just back out and reset and get a better formation. Gwen does die to the Tam, but they could have been way more. Like, this was just kind of odd, considering G2 were in a position where they could have won that team fight anyway, just 5v5, so it was just weird play by them. Obviously, we're not really focusing too much on G2, but very odd. Very odd. So right here, like, they walk up, this completely fine, jump on them, okay, great. As soon as this TP comes in, you back off. Mickey looks like he did try to, but Yankos was way too aggressive. Has to use his flash just to get out. I mean, Yankos has ult as well, but Mickey does not, so... Yeah, all around, very weird, very weird. Big damage out of the Varus, though. A lot of damage coming in with that Q. Elyoya just falls short of dying from that electrocute. It was very, very close, to be honest, but... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Overall, just very weird. Bad kind of prioritization from the side of G2. They're not really paying enough attention to what's actually happening. Just getting really, really greedy. Especially considering they're already in the lead. Like, they actually have a very, very good... like, clear win condition, to be honest. Like, the Varus is very, very strong right now. And the Tam is doing okay too. So we haven't really seen the junglers interact though, which is kind of normal. They are both on their gold drinker now though. We do have the magical footwear from Xin Zhao. Obviously this is quite important as well because magical footwear gives you an extra 10 movement speed just for having the rune. Now you also don't lose this when you get tier 2 boots. You get an extra 10 movement speed from tier 2 boots when you have magical footwear. So it's a really, really kind of good rune if you want to just get into your main item, and then that's about it. Especially on these champions like Xin Zhao, Lee Sin. I mean, Tam does have his flash available, so he does get out. Lee Sin can't jump to that, and it would be bad anyway. Yankos would instantly kill him as he gets in, especially considering he gets his ult. He could also ult him, and that stops the Lee Sin damage. Now, one of the reasons why Xin is also an extremely good kind of matchup into Lee Sin as the Xin Zhao is if the Lee Sin uses his Q, you don't get the kind of execute damage on your Q until you reactivate it. Now the reason why this is important is because Lee Sin has to actually touch them with the second activation of his Q in order to get that damage off. So what you can do is in Zhao is as soon as you see the Lee Sin Q onto say a priority target, as soon as you see him reactivate that Q, you just instantly use your ultimate, and then that'll push him back if you time it properly, and it'll stop his damage going through at all. So in theory, you completely cancel his damage from his Q, which can be huge. Now, you can also use this kind of in objective situations. So, for example, you're going for a Baron and it's 50-50. It's more of a 60-40 for kind of this jungle matchup, because if the Lee Sin kind of jumps into the Baron pit, Xin can just kick him out. You can just ult him straight back out. It's kind of one of the reasons why this is a really good matchup. But Lee Sin overall is ridiculously broken right now, and the champion is so high in terms of skill expression that you... Oh wait, my webcam's wonky. He's got so much skill expression in his kit that this, you know, allows the really, really good players to still pop off on the champion. So, and you can still win it even with this matchup, because the thing is, it's different. If you're playing a lane, and say we're playing Camille and we're playing into a Poppy in top lane, that's a very, very bad matchup for Camille. Like, obviously she'll be good later on outside of lane, but in lane that's an extremely bad matchup for the Camille. Now, one of the things, or I'll say Riven into Poppy, either way. So yeah, so this is one of the kind of things, when you're inside the jungle, you don't really interact with the matchup anywhere near as much, like except for like your early game pathing. And this is what I would say when I coach people in jungle. It's, you have to see early jungle as kind of like a game of chess. Like, you have to make sure that you're moving in the right places so that your pieces will have the advantage, and you avoid certain things that you don't need. So if you end up in a bad jungle matchup, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, you can just play around the fact that you're in a slightly suboptimal jungle matchup. Now, this is obviously really important, because this is why you also see a lot of junglers taking early priority. We see like B1 Lee Sins, Zhao's, Viegos, stuff like that, really, just because it doesn't really need to be a flex if it's in the jungle, because you don't really get directly counted as much. Now, obviously, some of the more niche champions do, but overall, we do have a dive in the top lane now. One that is just so tanky, though. Are they actually going to be able to... Oh, they will. Gwen does have a ridiculous amount of true damage on her Q, actually. So that's how she can deal with the Tam so easy there. And he just got squashed now. They did get Tau and a tier 1 top lane in return for a tier 2 bot, which is definitely in favour of G2. And just because now this bot tower's gone, they can get complete control of vision in this bottom side of the map, because what they can now do is they can push this wave all the way up to their base, and then obviously because there's a huge wall here, while they're clearing these minions, they're in their base. So what this means is you have the opportunity to just come through here, get these walls down, and you know, get objectives, go into your own jungle. There's a lot of different things you can do. So getting these tier 2 towers are really important, and it's just a nice roughly 600 gold for free. Like, so Caps is here. Kai'Sa is potentially looking to dive him. Caps does have W and ult though, so it's very hard to ever catch LeBlanc, but I do like his build. His build is very good. Now the TF is about to spike soon, so that is something that we need to be careful of. I think Humanoid is actually looking to reset right now for his rapid fire cannon. He does have his stopwatch as well unused, which is really good, because that means he doesn't need to get his Zhonya's anytime soon. It means he can itemize into this rapid fire cannon now, and it doesn't really matter. Obviously, if this stopwatch was broken, maybe he'd have to rush his Zhonya's, purely because the team he's against is a little bit rough. But I mean, Caps out farming mid. I mean, there is a kill up for Humanoid, but Caps doing really well into him. So Wonder just comes into mid, just clears that out. We have Gwen on a reset and Lee Sin on a reset. I mean, overall recall time is not too bad actually. Although I would have liked to see Ezreal and Leona reset there also, and then all of them just come out of base together, spend full gold, go and get full control of this Baron, and then look to just hold that area for a substantial period of time. Now G2 only need one more Mountain, and Mountain is a very big win condition due to the amount of resistances you get on top of the shield that you get, which also helps because of the resistances as well later on into the draft. So we will see if they fight for this dragon. Now, if I'm Mad Lions, they need to fight for it. Just because if they don't, it could be very rough. And this is still... There we go. It's still tilted, look. You can see the top of the chair. Oh well, it'll do. Right. So, we do see the rapid fire cannon come out for the TF. Now this is really important, because what TF's job now is to do is just walk around and just card from a million miles away. So he just does this over and over now. And, you know, if TF gets a gold card, Lee Sin gets an easy Q, which, you know, then translate into a complete CC chain from Leona. So this is a really good kind of combination. And right now, this is where Mad have to start doing something, because they have to start fighting for these dragons. The good thing is, if they do fight for this last dragon and they get it, then they could potentially get 4 in a row, which is going to be a total of 24% armor and magic resist, purely from the dragon alone, which that is a substantial amount of resistances, especially considering the TF's going to be getting his Zhonya's, Lee Sin's, you know, going to go pseudo tank, Gwen's going to get his Zhonya's, Ezreal's going to get a frozen heart next, which is going to give him massive amounts of value. And then obviously we have Leona, who is going to somewhat be building tank anyway, and this helps Leona quite a lot though, because she's already very tanky with a W and Aftershock. So on top of that, an extra 24% bonus to her armor and magic resist. That will be a very scary world to be in, to be honest. So we're looking to see what they do. We do see that Void Staff come out for Caps though. But Jankos is actually playing this game insanely well. Like, insanely well. This is a little bit of a jungle gap. We do have a fight going down here. We have multiple TPs come out. Humanoid does get caught, instantly killed by Caps. Now Kazi's trying to do damage in the back, but he just can't do enough. Alioya just kind of war jumps away, but Humanoid, that's really worrying, considering this guy is going to be playing against some of the best mids in the world soon. So, oh, it is on 11.15, so they're continuing to try and fight right now, just trying to do some damage. Now, Ezreal can keep doing damage from the back, and the Xin Zhao's W is down now, so it's not like he's going to be able to chase him down either. So, the Ezreal is just going to keep poking out now and keep clearing these waves, and they can actually just go for a full reset right now so that they can reset before the dragon is available in 45 seconds. I think Yankov's taking this camp, unless it gets in the Sterak's, is a little bit greedy. Probably going to give the red buff over to Varus, surely. Although I guess it is lethality Varus, so there's not as much. So here Mickey kind of jumps on, manages to get a pick, and then we see the first TP come out for the side of G2. Another TP comes out, but it's super late, but Humanoid just gets caught, and he just gets killed way too quick before they can really do anything. And I mean, the TP was slow though. So, I mean, Kaiser's got a really good pick here. The Varus ult does do so much though, but Varus is too big. Like, he's doing so much damage. That early tower dive really helped too much. Humanoid gets caught again by Caps, and this kind of the risk with the TF lane is if you're not good enough at TF to kind of be able to understand how to like kind of hard smash the LeBlanc in the lane, then it can be very risky, because LeBlanc has the ability where if she gets a kill or two, she's going to be able to one-shot you very easily, considering you're on a mobile mage. Now, his positioning has been very off in this game, and this has kind of resulted in him dying twice in a row now and losing a massive amount of pressure for his team. Now, Humanoid's one of the kind of the greats coming into Worlds as well. He's not tier 1, but I more than happily comfortably put him at like a tier 2 mid, to be honest. But so here we see TF come in. They do manage to get the Nasha for the Zen, but it's just a complete massacre. Mad are just too far behind at this point to actually take these fights, and obviously Mad do a lot when they are behind, and they're very good in that regard. But in this game, I think their bot lane getting punished too much early, and Reckless being able to kind of do so much on this Varus in this game is just huge. And again, they managed to get that dragon as well, which does put them at soul, so they're very tanky. And I feel like this is very one-sided for the side of G2 this game. There's a lot of mistakes that Mad have actually made, and a lot of it comes from Humanoid, to be honest. Funny enough, it's first the kind of bot lane gank, which, you know, there was no wards for. I do like Kaiser's build though on the Leona, but that much damage is insane from the Varus there. Just does so much. It was like the Baron was actually on 700 for ages, so very risky as well to actually have that. Obviously El Yoya wasn't there because I think he was dead, so but this, they just kind of clean up. This one of the things with Tam as well is if you're on the aggression and you're trying to catch them, like, you can just W over and over and just keep catching up to people. It makes it very easy to chase people down, and now they have Baron. It's going to be quite easy to end this game out. What they're going to look to do is just get all of the outer towers so that they can keep Prio up and try and kind of force his base in, and then as soon as this Elder comes up in 4 minutes, it's going to be very easy for the side of G2 to just rotate on it and get it. Now, obviously one of the big things that they do have to be careful of is that they don't flip at Elder, because I think that's one of the main kind of ways that Mad could potentially come back now. Obviously, Lee Sin has quite a lot of execution power on his cube, which can be used very nicely on the Dragon, but if this gets stolen away in a game like this, then I'd be very sad. I don't know what Wonder is doing here though. He's just jumping in, but they're using so many resources to try and kill this Tam Kench, so, and they don't get him. Okay, really bad. Really bad. They commit way too much on. Okay, so this is looking like a win for G2 now. They're just going to look to take this in, hit bot so that they get access to those cannons. I mean, maybe they're not even going to bother. Okay, I guess they just don't bother. They're just going to end. I thought they would have got the bottom inhib just so that they get access to that extra wave of kind of minions that they could use to end, but this also worked. So first game, I mean, it was fairly one-sided, to be honest. G2 did kind of hard smash this game, so let's go into game 2 and kind of see what's different?